wrestling fans of all ages, shapes, sizes, genders, and everything in between. It is time to go to war and be VicTori for the Common Wrestling Podcast. Welcome to the revolution.
Buzz, guys. My name is Kate Murphy.
What's going on, everybody? This is Will Tarashuk, the founder of the Kings of the Rings podcast.
What's going on, guys? It is I, the one and only Quiet Riot himself, Zach, your host of the Young Lions Perspective.
What's up, guys? This is the Monday Night Delight.
Greetings, one and all. This is your Prime Minister speaking, your favorite Canadian, Mr. Fretz.
Hey, what's up, you guys? This is NateFNGreat from the Game Changer podcast.
If you're looking for a network that keeps wrestling real, then you've come to the right place because
you're listening to
You are listening to
You are listening to
You are listening.
Then you are listening.
Get ready for a war because you're listening to
What is going on, everybody? This is King Ricky Rose, your general manager, and you are listening to Wrestle, Addict Radio. Now enjoy the show.
Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to change the landscape of podcasting as you know it in professional wrestling. This is the Game Changer Podcast. Featuring the greatest asset to come out of Canada, the legendary Mr. Fretz.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best ever will be.
I love myself. There's something so condescending to the champ to get out of my ring.
They think they got the answers. I change the questions. I did it all by my sweet little self. Two-time Slammy Award winner. I knew it. I'm a winner. I did it! Wow!
As well as featuring yours truly, the Game Changer, Nate the Effin' Great.
I've had it! It's time for you to start listening to somebody else, and that somebody else is going to be me, and it's going to be right now! The dirty secret is you need this generation more than it needs you. You're not going to come out here and talk about how it should have been you, it should have been me, it should have been you, it should have been you, it should have been you, it should have been you 8 years ago, and it was kind of, then it wasn't, and it's not going to be a debt, and it's not going to happen. Just get over it. I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even in commentary. Nobody can touch me.
We change the game one day at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready, let's do this.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. You've been searching in the dark, your sweat soaking through the floor. And buried in your bones, there's an ache that you can't ignore. Taking your breath, stealing your mind, and all that was real is left behind. Don't fight it, it's coming for you, running at you. It's only this moment, don't care what comes after. Your fever dream, can't you see, getting closer? Just surrender, cause you feel the feeling taking over. It's fire, it's freedom, it's flooding open. It's the bleacher and the pulpit and your blind devotion. There's something breaking at the brink of every wall that's holding all that you know. So tell me, do you wanna go? Where it's covered in all the colored lights, where the runaways are running the night. Impossible comes true, it's taking over you. This is the greatest show. We light it up, we won't come down, and the sun can't stop us now. Watching it come true, it's taking over you. This is the greatest show.
You know, I might be using this theme song out of spite because Backsplash is this Sunday, and trust me guys, we're going to be making fun of that pay-per-view so much throughout the show. We got so many puns for that. Welcome to the Game Changer Podcast, a.k.a. the greatest show, a.k.a. other than possibly KOTR 200, which is coming up next week. Definitely tune into that. And guys, definitely tune into next week's show, and we'll tell you why in just a bit. I am NateFNGreat, and I'm being joined here by the Mountie to my Patriot, that being Mr. Fretz. How's it going, man?
I am the Mountie, I'm handsome, I'm brave, I'm strong. I can sing the whole bloody song, but I'm not going to right now. Yes, it is me, handsome Doc Hendricks and Todd Pettengill all rolled into one. And we are going to give away a house. Oh, excuse me. Are you fucking serious? But I'm looking for a house, you bastard. Yeah, I was pissed when I found out they weren't giving away a house. I'm looking for one, by the way. So, if any realtors in Grey Goose County, Ontario, are listening to this, yeah, it is me. It is Mr. FRETZ. And man, that was a great nostalgia trip on Sunday night. Made me feel like I was 11 again. I think we had a conversation. It's like all I need now is Gushers and High C, and we carry Gushers at my store, but I haven't seen High C in like 30 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think I also remember mentioning the fact that I have High C in my refrigerator right now, which in all honesty, I'm probably going to enjoy that tomorrow morning because I probably need it. But yeah, a lot of nostalgicness that came to it. The set of it was great. We're, of course, guys, talking about NXT TakeOver in your house. We're doing a full-fledged review. We'll probably do some fantasy deals because why not? It's been a while since we've done some fantasy bookings and stuff like that. Might as well bring out some of this stuff, but also talk about some of the great things that happened at this event. In all honesty, guys, this was fun. This was a fun show. Was it like one of the best shows? You could make the argument for that, but in all honesty, it was a fun show. It was one of those things where I don't think there was a single match on here that made you just either groan or roll your eyes or be like, I need a bathroom break. No, every single match on here was damn good. So let us actually just dive right into the show, as we will first kick off with the 6-woman tag team match of Candice LeRae leading her team of Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez taking on Mia Yim, Shotzi Blackheart, and Tegan Knox. Now, usually when we do these deals, I usually take the reign and just go crazy with talking about these matches, but this time around, I think it's only fair that we actually change things up a bit because we're game changers and because we like it like that. So, Mr. Fretz, I'm going to let you take the reins on this opening matchup. Your thoughts on it, some of your favorite moments on it, and what the hell happened?
Well, before we get into this, I just want to talk about how awesome it was to see Todd Pettengill and and the whole like the classic new generation era pay-per-view vignettes. Like, if we want to talk about the weirdest full circle moment I think we've ever had on the show so far is last week you and I were talking about King of the Ring 1994. And Todd Pettengill was doing the voice, like, and now for the coveted King of the Ring title. Coveted by who? And now in 2020, 26 years after the fact, Pettengill is there. And yeah, I already said it, but I'm still pissed they didn't give away a house. So
that was a bit of a boner killer, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, and what I've found an interesting fact about that house is the kid that won it turned a profit and sold it later in the year.
I heard that. He's a smart kid.
Yeah, thanks. I think that was the new... This is a podcast that's not together anymore, but it's the New Generation Project podcast. Highly recommend going through their backlog. They're great. So we have here, I didn't take too many notes just because I went through like a results page this morning and thought I'd jot a few things down. But I just sat down, cracked open a beer, and enjoyed this whole show. I love Shotzi's Mario Kart tank, and I found out, I think through Kate Murphy or someone else on our network or just browsing the internet, you could buy these little like friggin' tanks. Like, okay, I'm gonna turn I'm gonna find someone with a big yard and turn it into like a Mario Kart course with all these things. I loved the Tegan Nox doing the Lady Kane routine where she tried to hit the choke slam, but then finally she did. Just loved it. There was a really nice power bomb by Raquel Gonzalez, and a little bit more notch in their feud. Tegan Nox pins Dakota Kai with the shiniest wizard, and I can see their feud, or more like I should say, I want to see their feud kind of go DIY-esque, where okay, now they're on opposite sides of these teams. They keep one-upping each other, and now I want to see like kind of an unsanctioned match, like how Gargano and Ciampa had in the first place. I want to see something like that is just hard-hitting, hardcore, falls count anywhere, something gimmick, last woman standing, and them just to take the piss out of each other. And for that, if I can get a bit of Sideberg fantasy booking here, I think that Dakota Kai is going to be the next women's champion, and this DIY-esque feud is going to get Tegan Nox her eventual title. Let's just say next year SummerSlam TakeOver.
Could probably see that. So I liked this matchup as well. When you mentioned the whole Tegan Nox doing the Lady Kane deal, I loved that. That was one of those things where my heart just fluttered a bit. It's like, yes, she's doing the choke slam. Oh, she's doing a choke slam. Okay, this is beautiful. As far as what I could see out of this, one of the things that obviously WWE is lacking is the women's tag team division. It's crazy because I was looking on those Wrestling Girls Twitter. Definitely check those gals out. They are amazing. So much great stuff, and they even had Spotlight for Natalia recently, which is definitely a good listen. So one of the things that they have been lacking as of late has been women's tag teams. Because you look at last year, we had a women's Elimination Chamber tag team matchup. You had 6 teams all in there. You look at it 1 year later, it's dwindled. It's definitely been just dwindled. I mean, granted, the Iconics are back, thank God, because I've missed them. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, an odd pairing, but at the same time, I'm starting to really grow fond of them. Now we got, Sasha and Bayley, they're back together. This is a bit of a fantasy booking for me, because the fact is, they still need to defend those tag team titles on NXT. The team I would have them face off against is the team of Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai. I'm pulling this off because I want to pull that situation where it's strange bedfellows, but it's one of those situations where they can't necessarily fight each other or they lose the tag team titles, but eventually it is going to build up to bigger and better matches. Some examples of this, if you guys remember, have been Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit, the team of Kane and Daniel Bryan, although that might be a little bit of an exception to the rule because they were more besties when they came together than worst enemies and got matches. But you get the point that I'm getting at. It's just one of those things where it's like, let's actually, if they're going to do this weird deal where they're just going to have these strange bedfellow tag team partners, why not just go crazy with it, especially in NXT? And 2 people like Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai would just knock it out of the park. I would just love to see those two just be literally at each other's throats, but then realize, oh, we won the tag team titles, so we're a team now. Shit. Just having that moment would be amazing.
Next week on NXT, actually, I don't know if you watched the entire show this week, but the winners of the women's tag team match on Sunday are going to be facing the team of Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart the next week on NXT for the titles.
Ooh. I'm interested. I still want to go through my fantasy booking idea, but I'm still invested. And hey, finally, we get a NXT tag team title match on NXT. Not the NXT tag team titles, the women's tag team titles, because if you remember, it was supposed to be defended on Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Finally, we're getting a NXT women's title match. I mean, it took so long. Finally, we're getting it. It took a pandemic to make it happen.
Oh, geez, yeah. It took like half the roster being furloughed, and there's also, well, I think this is a makeshift tag team, and I kind of like how they're doing this. But I still haven't seen like a sign of Vanessa Bourne and Aaliyah, but I think one of them might be injured. So it could, because that was going to be, I think at least, like, I don't want to say this tag team, because we all know how the new Rockers and the new Midnight Express and the new Blackjacks, I don't need to go on, do, but it's like, this is how I could see them being like, billed as like the new Iconics, just without the amazing, hilarious gimmick. And Cyborg, if you ever break up the Iconics, Pritchard, I will hurt you.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you that don't know, this news that broke out this week, they're combining the two teams. They are going to have Bruce Pritchard heading up the creative deal, and they're having Paul Heyman continue his deal where he's going to be being an in-ring performer. So, I mean, Paul Heyman lasted longer than Eric Bischoff, to say the least. But now we got Bruce Pritchard on as creative. Yay! So that means we're probably getting more Yes Men deals. Crap. This is.
I'm cautiously optimistic. I'll see how it goes. I think there's enough leeway there, enough back and forth that they can make something work. Just as long as it's not a... Actually, I'm not going to talk about that because that's for Backsplash.
Yep, fair enough. Let's move on to the next matchup, which is Damian Priest taking on Finn Balor. This was by far my favorite matchup. I was just saying to Fretz before the show even started, this had a feeling of Diesel versus Shawn Michaels back in their prime. It just flowed so well. Damian Priest using his power game, Finn Balor using his speed. It just screamed just absolute beauty. This was one of those matches I actually did not even take notes for because I was enjoying it too much. That's what I'm trying to do that now. I'm trying to more just enjoy the matchup. Maybe I'll take notes here, or I'll just maybe I'll tweet about it here or there. But it's like, beginning of the match, let's go. End of the match, okay, this was awesome. This was bad. Blah blah blah. So I will say this: the finish to this matchup was just, it was good. So many times Damian Priest has been trying to do the Razor's Edge to Finn Balor. Finn Balor is able to counter out of it. He's able to get out of it. But this time around, it actually winds up to being probably one of the most wicked spots I think I've seen in a matchup. So early in the matchup, Damian Priest has like the steel steps set up on the outside. There's just on the side of the ring, just there, just waiting for it to be hit. So Damian Priest is on one side of the rings. On one side of the ropes. He's got Finn Balor up for the Razor's Edge. It looks like he's going to hit the Razor's Edge on from Finn Balor to hit the steel steps. Balor's just like, nope, I like my body enough, and my wife will probably appreciate me for doing this. He counters out of it. He knocks Damian Priest off the apron onto the steps, and that was just a wicked spot. That was one of those spots where it's like, okay, that's going to mess up the spine. And any angle that you see it, it's brutal. It is absolutely brutal. Damian Priest is able to get back into the ring. Finn Balor hits a coup de grace to the back of Priest's head. Then he hits another coup de grace for the 1, 2, 3. Finn Balor continues his reign of being the best in NXT. Excuse me. And honestly, I did say earlier in the evening that Damian Priest was going to be the MVP of the show. And honestly, this was the performance that he needed. This was definitely something that really elevates him to that next level. Because a lot of his other matches were kind of like, okay, he's good. He's not quite to that level yet. This was the match that he needed to get to that next level. I loved this matchup. Favorite matchup on the card. At only 13 minutes and 7 seconds. Are you kidding me? This is like... I love it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, this was shorter than an episode of Raw and SmackDown. So this was just the perfect palate cleanser. And because I was so damn tired Sunday, and I think by the end of the show I was out cold, it was perfect. I mean, I liked All right, what I have here is, Damian Priest hitting an awesome broken arrow, and I think he hit a razor's edge onto the apron, and I thought the buckle bomb was banned. Maybe it's only banned for Nia Jax, but yeah, that. And then there's the whole psychology in wrestling is that they who set up the weapon goes through it. If you remember I think it was either a street fight or a handicap match that Kevin Owens had with Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble a few years ago.
That's right.
And Kevin Owens set up like the thing of like the pyramid of chairs, and then he gets put through him. And thanks to Chris Jericho, big shout out there, Kevin Owens was able to retain the Universal. That's when he was the Universal Champion. Oh my gosh. How long ago was that? So
that was back when Braun Strowman was taken seriously, and we were just like, holy shit, Braun Strowman, he could kill somebody. And that, oh my gosh, that was the year that Braun and Roman had a feud, and it was actually really good.
Oh, with every form of vehicular homicide known to man. And Finn Balor here, this gives him TakeOver win number 11, which I believe broke a record. And I wrote down here that, Priest here, although I predicted him to win and thought that getting a big statement win here would send him on the stratosphere, maybe towards a North American Championship. But I think that honor is going to go to Finn Balor because after he defeated Cameron Grimes this week, he motions to the camera. It's like, hey, I've held every title in NXT. I've held a bunch of the titles WWE, but I haven't held the North American title. Keith Lee, Bullet Club gun salute. So that's gonna be a thing. Holy crap!
And to be honest, that's one of those matches that kind of writes itself because you could trace it almost back to the point where Keith Lee did that deal where he just rose up from the side of the ring and he just looked like the Loch Ness Monster. I mean, you could trace it back to that. That's one of those things where it's like, fine moments like that are not really planned, but in the future, they make for such really great storytelling. I would love to see that.
And really good gifts as well.
Oh, hey, speaking of which, it's time for the North American title match.
Can I?
Oh, please.
I told you this, but so there's a funny story here. For those of you who remember 1995 to 1997 in your houses, we always got either host commentary or backstage segments done by handsome Doc Hendricks, who was none other than Michael P.S. Hayes from the Freebirds. Now, they asked Michael Hayes to be Doc Hendricks, and he loudly refused. So what do? So Johnny's coming out of the house. Yeah, we did mention that the In Your House set from HQ was basically there. There was a house inside. I don't know if this was the PC or if this was Full Sail, but this was amazing. So you see a portrait of Doc Hendricks as Johnny's coming out of his house. He sets the thermostat to 69. Nice. and then puts his key right in his jocks and thinking like, it's going to scratch up the Johnson there a little bit. That might be uncomfortable unless he has one of those MeUndies or as I think on Kings of the Rings they were talking about like a penis pocket. Guys, I think that's called an uncircumcised penis.
It's like Goldmember where he just where like the key is lost and then he's just like, oh wait, oh my scrotum, it was a key the whole time. Isn't that weird? Just
oh good lord.
So maybe it's that situation where it's like there's nothing down there except there used to be a key down there, but oh god, that actually makes more sense. Johnny,
and something about a keyhole and Candace. Yeah, I'm just going. Okay, alcohol. Forget I said that.
It's already on. Oh my Oh man, I mean, there's a way to a woman's heart, and apparently it's in Johnny's pants. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I went that route, but whatever at this point.
No, that was better than my perverted analogy. You actually made it even worse.
Yeah, you look better out of this. But anyway, yes, we're getting to the Keith Lee defending his North American title against Johnny Gargano. What you would expect in a Johnny Gargano matchup, really good. Keith Lee definitely does add another element to this. He's just absolutely phenomenal. Really good back and forth between the two of them. Candice and Mia decide to get out and they brawl each other for a little bit to basically add a little bit of fuel to fire. I think this was probably like the only takeaway I would take from this is that I probably would have left the women's deal maybe to be just, they had a match already. They don't need to add more to it. That's just me. But you mentioned the key to Johnny Gargano. He pulls it out during this matchup, and he keys Lee's eye. That just sucks. Johnny was able to hit the one final beat, followed by a super kick to get super close. But Keith Lee is able to hit the Spirit Bomb and the Big Bang Catastrophe to retain his championship. But guys, we cannot overlook the beautiful gift that we got out, or the beautiful meme, I should say, that we got out of this matchup, of just Keith Lee catching Johnny Gargano and just that stare between the two of them. I have the time of my life. You cannot deny it.
I thought we were going to go like it was something. It was like out of the Notebook or something.
So God. just Rachel McAdams like voice in the background. It's like, I'm a bird. Tell me I'm a bird. Tell me I'm a bird.
I don't get that reference. I've never watched the Notebook.
Well, okay, then that explains so much. And that awkward pause is probably heard all around our nation. So Wrestle Addict Radio. Yeah, I saw the Notebook one time. No, actually, it was more like twice. But hey, I like Rachel McAdams, so you can't deny me.
Yeah, she's cute, but no. Couple of things noted of their attires. I mean, Johnny Gargano came out as like one of the villains from The Mandalorian, like the half cape.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah. Now, yeah, that was. Yeah, I think that was Kings of the Rings that helped me figure that one out. Because I'm looking at that and I'm like, is he Kylo Ren? Is he like a Darth Vader? Because like he's done every Marvel good guy imaginable, and I think he did like Venom when he had that brief heel run before Aleister Black absolved of him all of his sins and then kicked his face off. And Keith, big props. Like, he had the Black Lives Matter on his vest and his tights. Big props to that, because we, of course, support that. The doorbell cam part was such a great touch.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh man. It's one of those things where I just looked at this and I thought, can we just have that whole entire camera there for that entire moment? Where we just see Johnny Gargano, he's just like trying to get out of it, and Keith Lee is just coming up from behind, almost like a freaking, like a horror movie villain, just coming from behind. It's like, he's going to get him, but at the same time, you're kind of thinking Johnny's going to get away from it. Nope, Johnny's dead. That white boy is dead.
Johnny doesn't know. Wait, don't tell Johnny. No, that doesn't work. Damn it, Euro Trip. If only there was someone here named Scotty and it would work. Where's Scotty Too Hotty at these days? The key, and then Johnny Gargano. I think even Morrow is like, oh, this is the key to victory. And then I'm reminded of this. I only heard the punchline to this joke, and it's just this guy says, oh, that joke's stupid. How do you lose your keys in a vagina? And then that hit it even better with everything we've been talking about.
Oh, my God.
My gosh.
Oh, man. Sexual humor and key jokes. We got them here on the Game Changer podcast.
Turning a profit.
Oh, my gosh. If Johnny Gargano does not make like a key t-shirt, that's going to be such a huge missed opportunity. I mean, it could almost be like one of those like couple. Oh God, dude, no, I already said it. I'm going to say it now. It's going to be like one of those like couple costumes you see at Halloween, like the plug-in and the outlet. Well, now it's just going to be Johnny's just going to be the key, and maybe like the female's just going to be Johnny's trunks.
And then it has to have that, that Johnny Gargano, that winky face thing. That could be like yeah, that's the old face.
Yes, it has to. Oh my God. That is the best. Johnny, you should not have put that key down your pants, because we went from gold member to an awesome costume idea for Halloween. Just...
Then the key went in Keith's face. Where has that key been? I mean, has it been in that friggin' penis pocket that the Kings were talking about?
I don't know. I'm kind of worried that Keith Lee would get pink eye from that. That's the only thing I would be worried about with that key.
Yeah.
And I mean, it always looks like Keith Lee is kind of like squinty-eyed a little bit at some points. So I can only imagine when he's going to be like just like one eye still kind of squinty, the other guy's just like swollen with pink eye. That's just going to suck for the dude. So Keith Lee, you earned a lot of props, but also hopefully that eye has been drained out of all the whatever is in Johnny's pants. Although it would be worse if it was Joey Ryan. Let's agree to that.
Oh, no, don't put that thought in my head.
At least we know that Johnny's clean. Joey, on the other hand, no.
No, Joey's cock would be able to grab the key and turn it into the keyhole.
You're not wrong.
And the door would sell somehow.
And then the door would open, and then the dick druids would just come out. They make a return.
Please make this a thing. AEW in your house.
AEW in your yard.
It's my yard now.
That's what. It's like a Roman Reigns deal, but it's like really distorted. Where it's like, "Near my yard now," because obviously copyright. Dead man, my yard now.
Dead man mowing my yard.
Oh my God, what is wrong with us? Nothing. We're normal. Thank you. So, speaking of normal, sort of, kind of, probably not, we go into the next matchup, which is the last chance backlot brawl for the NXT Championship. Velveteen Dream challenging Adam Cole, and if Dream loses, then he cannot challenge for the NXT title while Adam Cole is still the champion. So already it's got a unique build-up. I love the promo package that they had for this. For some weird reason, like the actual like backlot deal, I kept looking at it thinking that they were recording in like New Orleans or something like that, because I'm thinking, man, this looks like something you would see like down Bourbon Street or something like. It was really weird for me, but I digress. Mr. Fretz, take it away. What did we see in this matchup?
Yeah, the setting of this actually reminded me of a lot of Saint Denis, and if you played Red Dead Redemption 2, you get that reference. Velveteen Negan. I'm trying to shoehorn a fact that Velveteen came out looking like Negan, carrying, of course. Did Negan? I'm going to say this. I haven't watched The Walking Dead, but I know of Negan. I saw that, infamous bat scene, which was disgusting. Did his bat have a name?
Yeah, it was. Oh God, was it? No, it wasn't Lucifer. God, what the?
Lucy?
No, it wasn't Lucy either. Oh my gosh, I should know this shit because I watched a bit of that series. I'm gonna look it up, but I do want to say this, that some people were actually saying that that Velveteen kind of had like this Hollywood gimmick, so it was kind of like Hollywood Negan kind of deal to it, which I looked at it a second time and like, oh yeah, he kind of does look like a bit like Hollywood Hogan vest here. Well, I mean, I wonder why Velveteen Dream would would have this deal with Hogan. I mean, it's not like he has an issue with something that Hogan might have said or something to that degree. I don't know. It's one of those things where I thought that was kind of cool that they mentioned that. Lucille. That's right. So we were close. So I wouldn't even know what Dream would even call it because it would not be Dracille or something like that. It would be. Let's call his bat's known as Darcy. How about that?
I was going to say something to do with Prince. Maybe it's a purple rain stick. Instead of a boomstick like in Evil Dead, it would be like the purple rain stick or something like. Yeah, close enough. So I'm going to say right away that visually, like the gritty nighttime spotlights, this match was tough to watch. I didn't enjoy it visually, but storyline wise, cinematic. I mean, if out of all the cinematic matches we've had, I think this one would be the least best. But from what they were given, I thought they did a damn good job. And right away, I had Cena Eddie and Ken Shamrock Steve Blackman vibes, both from, actually, ironically enough, both from July pay-per-views, one in 99, one in 03. There was a ladder that came into play here. Adam Cole got knocked off of something and landed in the windshield and cut his arm up really bad. Ouch.
Yeah, that's right.
And one funny thing is before I had this one, do you get a lot of ads for this app called Quibi?
Never even heard of it.
Okay, well, I watch a lot of YouTube, like on my phone, and I get this. It's Netflix, but it's only done in like iPhone-sized stuff. And one of the shows is something about like, you know, I just see like the first 5 seconds before I skip. It's like, "Hi, my name is Janet. I'll be your Orbit driver. Hi, I'm Carl. I'm your customer." Okay, dad jokes. F-O. And this thing comes in. Who ordered an Uber? Wait, is Uber even running in the coronavirus? Are you kidding me right now?
Somehow I could see that happening. I mean, if Eat Street's going, then Uber has to have some kind of, like, safety measures to handle it.
Maybe kind of like the screens that I have at my workplace. I call them the hockey boards, but the ones on Raw now are more like the plexiglass you see at hockey games. I'm surprised no one's been put through them. Pounced through the plexiglass. How did we forget that?
Oh, that's right.
Gargano gets
creamed. I want to also say this, that not since Monty Brown have I seen such a beautiful display of a human being just plowing through somebody and making it look like just the worst thing that could happen to him. Keith Lee has made that pounce look so better. Monty Brown's number 2. Keith Lee is number 1 when it comes to that move.
Pounce! Oh man, Monty Brown, there's a throwback. Or in WWE, how do you get a name like Marcus Corvon? It sounds like a French beef dish.
You're going down, down, down. Just calm smooth. Kill me, please. I hate this song.
Friggin' random saxophone. Yeah, nothing says intimidating like a saxophone. Okay there, Duke Silver, if you get that reference. I love you.
Unless it's Jazz. Jazz was the other one that could make a saxophone look deadly. Because she had that in her theme song.
Yeah, but if you end up looking more like Duke Silver, then it's also okay. If you you should know that one. I'll tell you later.
Fair enough.
So the Undisputed Era and Dexter Lumis both get involved. Dexter, of course, coming out from under the ring, and this was a bit of an ironic twist. I think last week when we were predicting, we might have covered a bit of NXT. Dexter Lumis was doing these caricatures, you know, kind of like the ones you see at the carnivals. And he built him and the Undisputed Era in a car. or a limo, or a vehicle, something. And then he beats up the Undisputed Era, throws them in the trunk. Notable by his absence is Kyle O'Reilly, but because he is a type 1 diabetic, he has a high risk.
Oh,
and
that makes sense.
They go away, and we hit a really nice Dream Valley driver on a bunch of chairs. Surprisingly, Cole kicks out, but then Panama Sunrise onto the stack of chairs. Adam Cole, baby, retains, or not returns, just as this is when I started getting my predictions right. Actually, I think it was the last match. But the stipulation of, as long as Adam Cole is champion, Velveteen can't challenge, that alone sealed the fate of Velveteen Dream. Unfortunately for him, he's not the champion, but I have a suspicion that we might. I thought we might see him on the main roster, but then Cultaholic, they claim that might be temporarily cooled off, maybe due to certain allegations that wound up being hacks, allegedly, who knows. This is not the time or place, I don't think, but yeah, I didn't like this match as much as I thought it would, just because of it was dark and like the spotlights didn't translate so well on the TV.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those situations. You mentioned, the Eddie versus John Cena matchup. That matchup was good because it had a couple advantages. One, it was inside. Two, they had some pretty good lighting, so that way the area actually looked pretty good. But also, see a major disadvantage for Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream. I love these guys; they're great. But they had Eddie Guerrero, and he can make anything work like no problem. But yeah, this matchup, like you said, it was one of those cinematic matches that had something there. It had something there, but unfortunately, the execution was a bit lackluster. It was one of those things that a lot of us were kind of curious to see what happened, but at the same time, we kind of, compared this to like the Boneyard match. Some people could be like, well, how come that matchup worked compared to this one? Well, this one had some pretty good lighting. Yes, even though it was outside, they didn't have to just rely on the vehicle's lights. They had, a little more to work with. I think that even the fact that it was maybe even like a smaller enclosure compared to the backlot brawl probably gives it a little bit of advantage, because to be honest, that Boneyard match only had maybe 2 barns and a grave sites and a tractor, to be honest, which, to be fair, still pretty awesome. But yeah, this one was a bit of an eyesore. I do agree with that. Finally, a Canadian destroyer wins a matchup. About time.
It only took a stack of chairs that would make Terry Funk and Mick Foley blush. And also, again, kind of reversing the psychology of what I said earlier, is they who set up the stack of weapons goes through it. But I believe it was Cole that was setting them up. I can't really remember.
It was either Cole or... Yeah, I don't remember exactly. I will say this. I did have a conversation on Facebook about somebody mentioning the whole thing with Dexter Lumis, where they basically said, so we're just going to forget about this whole Dexter Lumis kidnapping deal thing happening. And I just replied, kidnapping is such a strong word. I mean...
babysitting.
I think it was... I think it was Jordan Nixon was his name. Shout out to Jordan. This guy and I had a really funny back and forth kind of deal. Very playful, something like that. Where it's like he shoved him in a trunk and blah 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 blah. That seems like kidnapping to me. It's like, maybe that's the case. I've seen this guy in TNA, and I just know that he's a whack job no matter what. So for those that don't know, check out Samuel Shaw if you want a creepy bastard. That's where you're going to find it.
Yeah, what are you doing in my room? I only know that gag. I only know who Sam Shaw is in that room gag because of OSW review.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I'm surprised WWE even hired him. But then again, it's been a few years since that deal, so it kind of cooled down a bit. But good to know that they want to bring that back again.
Yeah, that's right. And friggin' Loomis's theme is Stranger Things. It's literally the theme song to Stranger Things.
Oh, that's awesome. It's
a complete ripoff. Like, I'll show it to you off air, but I mean, it's... As soon as I heard that, I'm like, wow, someone's about to go slay a Demigorgon.
Which I would have, honest to God, if they were able to pull that off somehow, I think I would respect WWE a bit more. Just to have a Demogorgon deal. That'd be amazing. Next up, we have the match between Tommaso Ciampa and Karrion Kross with Scarlett ringside. First of all, oh my God, that freaking entrance of Kross and Scarlett. Please, more of that, please. And also, I want Karrion Kross versus Aleister Black, please. Just, you know what? I want this to be... Here's the matchup I want to pitch between the two of them. Have them come out in entrances and only have, like, certain lights inside the ring. It's almost like the spotlights in the ring. Let it be almost like a blackout match. Just let me have that. I think that would be amazing. So, not quite to the level of, what was it? Candice, Michelle, and Lita on Raw where the power blew out. I remember that Raw so well. And it was bad. But like I said, to the degree, almost like when they do the NXT announcement for championship matches, maybe have a light like that, maybe dim it down just a little bit, just because that could probably get to be a little bit of an eyesore. And plus, we just got done with that whole Fiend red light deal. We don't want to blind any more of the customers. So what can I say about this matchup? It was a bit of a squash. Kross definitely looks like a badass. Ciampa did his best, but in the end, Kross chokes out Ciampa. I was shocked. I was impressed. I was also satisfied. This was short, sweet, to the point. To be honest, I don't see this hurting Ciampa at all. This is a guy who's going to be an NXT loyalist forever. I think he's going to be more successful than, say, Cassius. Oh, no. He definitely is over with the people, and I think that he's got one more run as the NXT champion. But I love the fact that he's helping, make stars out of the new people. And this is definitely a way to make Kross look like a badass, is to have that deal. Oh, gosh, that submission maneuver that he does is just so brutal. I think I even made a comment on Twitter that Kross actually got a kick out of, where I said, just imagine the last thing that you see is Scarlett, and then you just fall, and then you just pass out. You wake up and you're just in constant pain. Kross has just passed you by. Just literally that. It's one of those things where it's like, it seems like a good way to go, but at the same time, is it worth it? Is it really worth it?
Yes.
You would risk having like constant pain after Kross put you in that submission maneuver just to see Scarlett.
Dude, I have a fused spine. I'm in constant pain all the time.
Point taken. But yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't necessarily call this a squash matchup. It definitely had the feels of like one of those very fast-paced short matches. Almost to the degree of Owen Hart and 1-2-3 Kid, but not quite to that point. It still did its job, to say the least. I still enjoyed the matchup. Kross gets the victory.
Yeah, this gave me big, was it Brock Lesnar versus John Cena at SummerSlam vibes, just with maybe a little bit less dominant.
One-sidedness.
Yeah, because Ciampa managed to get the Willow's Bell, and I think he tried to land the fairy tale ending, but to no avail. This here is what we call domination, And yes, I just quoted Ezekiel Jackson's theme. Hey, if we were going back in time to entrance themes, this was actually appropriate. Yeah, Cross did the F10, and I think Brian Cage was taking notes at this point in time. One thing I noted is that probably because he couldn't take the move, Killer Cross did not do the Doomsday Saito, but he did do a really wicked spot where he did, like, I think a choke bomb on the apron, like on the apron, that looked really vicious, and Ciampa just landed right on the back of his head, and you can see it go beet red, and the veins were starting to pop out, and man, Ciampa that's just such good subtle selling, unless that's his neck actually screaming. But my goodness, this was just an absolute dominant match, like I predicted it would be. I can see being a title feud, because I think Cross, he might get the rocket strapped to him right away, and if he does, I think the person that could take the title off of him, or they could trade it back and forth a few times, is Ciampa. And tick-tock. And I have to note that friggin' Scarlett came out dressed as, I think it was something from The Witcher, and toss a coin to your Witcher and toss a coin to that bitcher. Wow. The smoke show? Damn, girl.
Yeah, honestly, it is amazing seeing her go from that smoke show gimmick to her basically almost being like this. I think they've called her like the Death Angel. She is pulling that gimmick off so well. And I think we mentioned this before we even started, the whole deal where she came out to Adam Cole in just pitch blackness. She puts an hourglass there and just flips it over. And you just hear the fans chanting, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. Oh, dear Lord's heavens, have mercy. I will take Karrion Kross as NXT champion. But there's so many people like Ciampa, Gargano, and Finn Balor. I want Kross. I don't care. Let Kross end Adam Cole's title run. Let him be the one to end the historic reign. I don't care at this point. What about Keith Lee or Dominic Dijakovic? Kross. And I know our good friend Dusty Dave, shout out to him, he is definitely in agreement with us. I'm pretty sure that him and Kross are like besties at this point.
They're twins. I mean, Keith Lee. I mean, we have doppelgangers. I mean, we have Keith Lee is the doppelganger of our liege King Ricky, and you can get Dusty Dave being the doppelganger of Killer Kross. Myself, well, if I didn't have this disgusting porn tash coming in, this is more of a Sam Shaw, but without the tash, I'd look a lot more like Drew Carey, or when I was 16, I was told I resembled Crash Holly. So
nice.
I'll take the run.
I think the only person I could probably resemble would be Kevin Owens, which would be fine. I mean, I would just have to learn how to hit a really good stunner, good frog splash, and maybe a good pop-up powerbomb. You know what? I could probably totally do that. Kevin Owens, if you're listening to this, first of all, unblock me on Twitter, and also I would love to be your stunt double. Let's do a Damien Mizdow deal, but only better.
No, I think you have a little bit of Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen, and have you ever seen the movie Fanboys?
I cannot say that I have.
It's a comedy movie where these guys in 1998 or something, they go to the Skywalker Ranch and they try to hunt down a copy of Phantom Menace because one of their friends are dying of cancer. He's also in Balls of Fury, that ping pong movie that had Christopher Walken as like a geisha or something. Okay. Vogler, Jared Vogler or something. Yeah, all those guys.
Well, thank you. All right, guys, so I think we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about the main event because, my God, this was just absolutely awesome. So stay tuned, guys. We will be right back.
Hey, everyone, it's the Princess of Pro Wrestling, SoCal Val. You are listening to the Game Changer Podcast. Sending lots of love from California. Mwah.
Hey guys, this is NateFNGreat. Hey, have you ever wanted to be a champion but can't seem to really find the money and the time to get a championship belt? Well, you know who's a really good friend of mine? AJ from AJsBelts.com. These guys have a large assortment of championship belts, from classic belts to the modern day belts to championship belts you would not even believe. And guys, like I said, they work with you very well. With an awesome layaway program, there is no way that you can beat these guys' prices as well as these guys' deals, especially when you can give them a little bit of money every now and then until you can get that championship gold. Coming from a guy who's a champion and a game changer, I'm indeed NateFNGreat. I'm representing AJsBelts.com, proud friends of the Game Changer Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Coda Jacobs, the Crusader and visionary behind a brighter future in wrestling. If you're an honorable and noble public servant like myself, you are listening to the Game Changer Podcast.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is the theme song of the Superbad girl, Penelope Ford, one of the coolest people that I've met, and what the love interest of Superbad himself, Kip Sabian. Shout out to you guys. You guys are amazing. Welcome back to the Game Changer Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I am NateFNGreat, joined here by Mr. Fretz. We are talking about NXT TakeOver in your house, and before we get into that, you guys, let's talk about some of the things that we have coming up this upcoming week, because it is going to be quite eventful. Because this weekend I will be going down to Rockford, Illinois to be doing an interview with the patriarchs of that wrestling show, Matt Jones, as well as his wife, Kate Jones. Definitely check out that interview. By the time this is out, the interview will not quite be there yet, but it will definitely be up during the weekend, so definitely check that out. It's going to be a Game Changer Podcast exclusive, so check it out here on Spreaker.com as well as on YouTube and so many other great podcasting formats. Sunday will be a crazy weekend because of the fact that, no, it's not because of Backrash. It's going to be because SoCal Val will be returning to the Game Changer Podcast for a special 2-hour live show where we are going to be discussing so many things that took place over the last 5 years, celebrate the fact that this is a huge accomplishment, as well as probably take some of your guys' questions. So we will definitely be posting that up. It's going to be on my Twitter feed. It's going to be on SoCal Val's Twitter feed, so definitely leave a question on there, and be sure to use the hashtag AskVal as well as hashtag GodTV, which I say to you right now is an awesome show featuring her, Mickey James, as well as Lisa. Definitely worth watching. It's great. This past episode, they actually did a remembrance for Shad Gaspar. It's definitely going to be a tearjerker. Definitely break out the tissues for that. For us here at Wrestle Addict Radio, definitely check out the Young Lions Perspective. Also, major shout out to the Kings of the Rings, as next week they'll be celebrating KOTR 200. Their 200th episode, you guys. So I'll tell you this. You want to be a part of that show, definitely send an audio, send a deal to them. Let them know your favorite King of the Ring podcast moments, some memories that you have. We actually had a couple of memories that were posted about from a couple years ago, actually. There's one where I had my first appearance on the show, as well as the Survivor Series deal where it was myself, Mr. Fretz, and Agent Cooper, a.k.a. Max Speedy, taking on the trio of Will Tarashaw, King Ricky and Dusty Dave, who was a part of the show at the time. I will say this.
I remember that.
It's a beautiful thing, and honestly, if you guys can still find the videos of the Kings of the Rings cementing their legacy as 3 tough SOBs, but also saving the victory that Game Changer podcast had, definitely worth watching. It's great.
Especially when I did this. When we revealed that I was the third man.
I loved that. It was great.
I'm like, dude, I want to do this. Here, let me do something. And then we film it. You see it. It's like 3, 2, 1. Twitter blows up.
It was definitely a Twitter eruption when we had that. So I will tell you guys this, that next week we will be doing a review on King of the Ring 2000. In honesty, I have enjoyed quite a bit of this show. It's been pretty good. There is one thing on there that we are going to be avoiding at all costs because, let's face it, it's one of those things that made us both physically ill. And we barely have seen matches that have made us do that. This was one that is just bad. But I will say this, that why not throw a couple of Kings of the Ring memories in there? Because these guys definitely deserve a lot of praise for reaching 200. And why not? We could talk about some of our favorite Kings of the Rings memories that we had from the show, some of the things that we just enjoyed. Just why not? Let's just continue. Let's make it a week-long celebration. So for those that listen, Zach, shout out to you, buddy. Send a little love to Kings of the Rings because they definitely do deserve a lot of recognition this week. Don't have to do it, but I think it'd be kind of a cool thing. So, with that being said, finally, let's talk about the main event. We have the triple threat matchup for the NXT Women's Championship as Charlotte Flair defends against Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley. I will say this, I did like the fact that Rhea Ripley kind of had, I think she had like one black boot and one white boot, so I think that there's some people who are like, oh my gosh, she's bringing back the Vegeta deal. Her as Vegeta at WrestleMania was amazing, so her having that white boot just gave me a little bit of goosebumps where it's like, ooh, she's trying to bring back the Super Saiyan part of her. Also, Rhea Ripley as a Super Saiyan in Dragon Ball Z. Get on that anime team. Let's make it happen. She'd be perfect. Or live action Dragon Ball Z. Rhea Ripley, put her in. Do it, damn it. With that being said, Mr. Fretz, I yield the floor to you because you know what? People are going to know why in just a bit.
This was when I was just not taking notes and enjoying this match. Right at the beginning, seeing Charlotte Flair bail is classic heel move, classic chicken shit, classic Ric Flair, perfect. Then she managed to get back in and get a couple of sneaky hits in there. She walks in a nice high angle Boston Crab, a.k.a. the Walls of Jericho, just without the knee and the spine. Then they go all over the place until we get to the outside of the ring, and we're in front of the house. And then, because Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair are brawling, and then we see Io Shirai on the roof. I'm pointing to my roof in my apartment for some reason. And we see a dive from the house. In your house! Literally. And then we see a riptide from Brett's rope, a.k.a. the second rope. Thank you, OSW Review. And once I saw the figure 8 locked in on Rhea, I knew exactly what was coming. I knew that at this point in time, my prediction was coming true. Io Shirai came in with the moonsault off camera, and I think her knees landed right in Charlotte's face, busted her up a couple of times, actually. 1, 2, 3, Io Shirai, the what's her? Did they call her the Empress of the Sky, or am I mixing her up with like two other people?
You know, she could honestly be that deal. I think it really makes up for it. It's the finish to this matchup was very well done, because there have been times where we've seen this done before. Miz did this to, I think it was Wade Barrett when he was the Intercontinental Champion, and Curtis Axel, he just covered Wade Barrett for the 1-2-3, and Miz could not get to it because his leg was still caught in the figure four.
He was locking in the figure four.
Yeah. This was kind of the same situation where Charlotte had that locked in on Rhea, and I thought to myself, oh crap, we're going to see, she's going to retain. But there was also the part where it's like, I need to watch in the corner of my eye, because there might be something, oh my god, it's Io Shirai, moonsault to Rhea Ripley. And it's honestly one of those things where I've never honestly seen that before, where somebody's been locked in a submission maneuver and then got hit with a top rope move, whether it was a frog splash, a moonsault, diving headbutt, whatever it was. Io becoming women's champion of NXT, well deserved. Definitely deserved all the praise, all the accolation. She got just confetti and streamers and everything. This felt like a win in New Japan. This was just great. I'm happy that you called it, and it's one of those things where it's like Io Shirai definitely deserved it. It was honestly a shock for me, because I was not expecting Io Shirai to pick up the victory. Maybe it was because I thought Charlotte was going to hold on to the title a bit longer, but the fact that but she only held it for like about a month, really. It was kind of about the same length as when she was SmackDown Women's Champion with when she won that from Carmella, and then Becky Lynch would win it at the next big event. Same thing happened here with basically Charlotte Flair. She just basically, okay, so it was 2 months. Never mind. Yeah, to be fair, this was great. This was good. Match itself was pretty damn good. I liked it. Rhea Ripley still looked pretty strong. She literally had to have a submission put on her and a finisher put on. She looks like a badass. She's not buried. So for anybody that says that Rhea Ripley is buried, shut the hell up. She is still a freaking badass, and she is still going to be a difference maker come the main roster. I predict she's going to be coming up to the main roster soon. Charlotte put on another great performance. Io Shirai gets her comeuppance. She gets just all of the great moment. She gets that great moment. It's awesome. So I wanted to talk about this before we go into like final thoughts on on NXT TakeOver in your house. Did you hear that there was a petition put out to have Charlotte Flair never compete for a women's championship again?
Fickle. Okay, there's Charlotte hate. And, you know, I plug him all the time, but my good buddy John Ritland, Real Honesty with John Ritland on YouTube, he hates Charlotte Flair too. Like, maybe at or just below Slack levels.
I was just about to ask.
I think Slack, his would involve fire, but I think John works at a gas station, so maybe if he tried fire, it might not be a good thing. Don't quote me on that. Shout out Ritland. Love you, bud. That is just childish. I mean, here's the thing. I'm going to piss a lot of people off here. Charlotte is probably the best woman on the roster. She is put in the best roles because, yes, being a Flair helps. Being a legacy helps. Learning from one of the best of all time works. So she knows how to work a crowd. She knows how to work a match. She knows in-ring psychology. Maybe all these titles is a little bit overblown. I mean, she was wrestling the Raw Women's Champion the night after losing NXT. I can understand that would piss some people off. Maybe they oversaturate her a little bit. maybe people are drawing comparisons to John Cena, and stop. I mean, there is also a petition going around to fire Nia Jax, and although, Nia Jax has proven to be a little unsafe, maybe we need to just send her back to training or send her back to developmental. But that's just me. I mean, but this is their livelihood, and this is how do some people put this? This is just marks being marks. I mean, come on, with the confetti. I just had a thought. This is awful, but once I saw the confetti coming down, I'm like, okay, where's Sheamus to hit a brogue kick in the midst of the confetti?
I know exactly what you mean. Oh my god, that. Oh gosh, thank you for bringing that back up. That was funny. Not looking back at it, that's one of those moments where it's like, was it shocking? A little bit. Was it hilarious though? You bet your ass it was, because here's Roman. Hey, he's won the title. He's doing this. Triple H is like, hey, good job, man. I'm gonna shake your hand. And Roman's like, well, step down, son. I'm a big dog. I will spear you. Spear, boom. And then Sheamus is like, well, don't you know, fella? I got the money in the bank, fella. I'm going to cash it in, fella.
Sheamus 550. Mouthful of beer. Sheamus 515. I want that and the Owen I just broke your neck shirt.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Yeah, that is funny. I mean, in all honesty, you could have honestly seen also Asuka come out with the briefcase, because maybe she's confused that the briefcase she just.
No, I'm not. Okay, I'm sorry. I was about to go with her Japanese. I'm like, whoa, that's insensitive. Delete that, and it's in.
Oh my gosh, that the way you did that almost made me remind me of that genie from Aladdin, where he just zips himself up. He's like, I can't help you now. I work for Dr. Psychopath now. What are you gonna do?
Oh yeah, there. Or I just think me actually zipping my mouth like the genie with a zipper.
So yeah, honestly, that would also been funny. Just she comes out with the briefcase, and there's nothing in it, so referees are trying to explain to her, it's like, you can't cash in, you already won the title. I want to cash in! just Asuka being crazy Asuka, which is so much more entertaining than I expected it to be.
That's an R-Truth thing, though. He'd do that.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine R-Truth doing that? He's got the, 7-Eleven, 94-7, WIFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken Long Spot, 24/7 championship, and then he just has like the white briefcase for no reason except to be like, I want to cash this in right now. Ref's like, this is a women's championship, and just him just walking off, be like, my bad. Just to piss off Adam Blanc.
Oh, sorry, who got like a TNA Feast or Fired briefcase or something.
Wrong company.
10 years after the fact.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. Just comes up, and it's just literally this one thing where Vince is just looking like, what the hell is that? It's like, I think this is a Feast or Fired briefcase. What the hell's Feast or Fired? Is there something about I only know what it's like to be fired, but what is a feast? It's like, well, basically it's just like, it's almost like the Money in the Bank. We already had Money in the Bank. No, this is their version of Money in the Bank. Basically, some guys win opportunities, the other guy gets fired. So you want me to fire so we should fire R-Truth? No, definitely not. We're just you know what, Vince? Never mind. I just don't get it, pal. That's not good shit. Where's my hand sanitizer?
Oh, if I had some... it's over there on the floor. I can't reach it.
Oh my gosh. But, alright, so final thoughts about NXT TakeOver in your house. Like I said, fun show. Not one of the best shows of the year. I think WrestleMania definitely still takes the cake for the most part. Double or Nothing is just really awesome. But for another NXT TakeOver show, it's fun. It was definitely another fun show, and that's one of the main things that we have to be thankful for, is that it's fun, it's entertaining. It was a show that definitely just made us, I think it made a lot of people very happy. I don't know if there was a single person that was complaining about this show, except for probably anybody that was just not happy about Johnny Gargano doing more of his key move. That is the running joke. That is the running joke of our show now. Is Johnny
Keyhole? There's the episode title, Johnny Gargano's Keyhole.
Yes, Johnny's Keyhole. Oh my God! So many people are like, "What the fuck?" Oh, that's awesome. But Fretz, your thoughts on this event?
This was a fun way to burn an evening, and it was over in 2.5 hours. Like,
it was so short. It was crazy.
Oh, I love it. I hope Backsplash is this short, because to be honest with you, I really don't want to watch it. Although we have the card to predict, and then that means I'm probably going to have to watch a bit of it. But
do we have to predict it?
Oh, let's just do it anyways. We're a wrestling podcast. We might as well.
Why do you hate me? God, it's just fine.
Well, I hate myself. It would only help if I hated other people.
In the words of Courage the Cowardly Dog, the things I do for love.
I don't get no respect around here. River Dangerfield. Yeah, if you get that one. Yeah, so this was neat. I loved how this catered to the nostalgia. This catered to people in... I'd say, I got about 6 years on you, so I could say in our age range. And now that you're in your 30s, I guess I could say something like that.
Not quite there yet. I still got 2 more months. Well, actually, now it's about a month and a half.
Okay, there you go. Close enough.
We're getting there.
You were in Mama Gremlin's belly, so
yeah. Yes.
There we go. Close enough. So this just hit every nostalgia. Well, I'm not looking for a word. This hit all the nostalgia that I needed. I mean, I tuned into it a little bit late, and then I'm hearing the voiceover. I'm like, is that Todd Pettengill? And when I saw him, like, oh my gosh! I mean, all I wanted to know is where is Stephanie Wyand? Who's that? Very short-lived.
Google it.
Yeah, very short-lived sidekick of him in '95. She was the girl in the give away the house part. And then they had the actual house bit, and I loved that it came into play with the doorbell cam and the leaping off the house, and most of the matches here I thought went pretty well. As I said, I didn't like the backlot brawl that much, but this was overall an enjoyable show. The triple threat, I love that the women main evented, and then they main evented on Raw the next night, which makes it all the much better, giving them the proper spotlight that they should have. Lee and Gargano, I thought that was my match of the night, but I just loved it because of everything from the outfits to the Doc Hendricks to the thermostat. I mean, every man, he's such a dad because he's setting the thermostat and messing with it right after his wife probably did after he left. Guaranteed Candace set it back to 70, 71. No. Set it to 69. The key, the plexiglass bounce.
The key to a successful marriage. Ha-ha, zinger.
I was going to say the key to victory, except it was when you have the hiding key that doesn't open the right door. I actually I ran into that, and I was literally locked out of my apartment a couple of times because of that. I had to go in through my window. That friggin' spirit bomb counter that Keith Lee had, and then he did the big Big Bang Catastrophe out of another like powerbomb lift. Amazing. That man is just he's a star in the making. And I wouldn't blame WWE if they kind of fast-tracked him to the main roster, but I think with a main event scene that has Keith Lee, a veteran like Gargano, a veteran like Ciampa, your rising stars like Karrion Kross, and and even your undercard guys like Damian Priest, Cameron Grimes. NXT's in good hands. The main event and North American scene are in great hands. Killer Kross coming out as an absolute star, dominance, a god, and Fall and Pray. That entrance. Main event, ladies. Io Shirai is a psychopath, and I can't wait to see how they book her as champion. I can't wait to see her feuds because, well, Dakota Kai beat Casey Catanzaro on NXT this week, and she's got her sights set on the championship. My gosh.
So now we go from that to the backmash of this. Let's get this over with. United States Championship. Apollo Crews versus former champion Andrade Cien Almas. Shocked that they put the title belt on Apollo Crews, but at the same time, I'm happy for him that he's gotten some opportunity. Crews is not losing. I'm just calling that right now.
I'm just going to be that guy. I'm going to pick Andrade.
Damn, why didn't I pick Andrade? I like Andrade. The dude should be world champion. He really should. He feuded with AJ Styles and he had an awesome matchup. He's a star in the making. Fuck. Push him, Vince. Push him, please. Push him over the bridge? No! Damn it. Triple threat match for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. We have the Boston Hug Connection, Karen and Sasha Banks, Bayley, versus Nick Bliss Cross Applesauce, that being Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. And,
I'm sorry, the Greatest Show commercial just came on my TV.
Oh, God damn it. And the Iconics. Just because I want them to hold their titles again, I'm picking the Iconics. There's some matches on this show I'm not even going to care for. I'm just picking out of just spite. I'm picking Iconics.
I'm going to go Boston Hugs retain. There is going to be a little bit more dissension amongst the ranks until the eventual, I think, the blow-up that might happen at... What's the next pay-per-view even? What's the pay-per-view before SummerSlam? Are they bringing back like Fully Loaded or something? I'm literally going to Google this.
It's got to be Extreme Rules. I have a feeling that's what it is.
Okay, well, while I Google this, what's next on this drag?
Okay, it is Extreme Rules. Speaking of drag, wow, that is the worst transition we could have for this. Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. Who have you got?
First off, F this storyline. I know he gave the green light. Back in the day, we were talking, a few weeks ago, we talked about the LOD, Dark Side of the Ring. Yeah, Hawk gave the okay for his tasteless, drunk angle, except Scott Hall, I think, was literally wasted on TV numerous times. I hate this. You know what? I think this feud might prolong, so I'm just going to say right now that Sheamus is going to get the win. Although maybe somewhat underhanded tactics. And before I go, did you hear the rumor about what kind of segment's going to be filmed for this week involving them two?
Do I want to?
Well, you're going to hear it. So, there's going to be a contract signing, like just for a regular match with nothing on the line. What the heck? And allegedly, there's going to be a bit where they're going to want Jeff Hardy to do a piss test. And then somehow there's going to be a brawl, like either he'll refuse or something will happen and there'll be piss thrown in Sheamus's face.
You know what? Honestly, I'd accept that at this point because, I mean, it was funny when Shawn Michaels did that to Vince and Shane. At this point, it's just one of those things where it's like, well, at least they got some kind of funny thing in here. Nobody's going to like it entirely, but it's not going to be as funny as Shawn and Vince and Shane, but...
That's because it was poop. Poop is funny. Pee isn't.
No. Remember? That was when Shawn had that public piss test, and then he made the line of, Doc, it's better to be pissed off than pissed on. He just tosses the pee at Vince and Shane.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was interesting. Sheamus is winning. The Raw Women's Championship. We have Asuka versus Nia Jax, the woman
Asuka.
who. Yeah. Not even gonna go any farther than that. It is Asuka. Handicap match for the Universal title. Yay! Braun Strowman taking on Hey Ho Ball. Miz and Morrison. Strowman's winning. He's holding that title until Bray Wyatt comes back. And please let us have the Fiend versus Braun the Monster. And I'm not talking like Braun Strowman, get these hands, monster. No, I'm talking like him wrecking shit, almost committing vehicular manslaughter, where he is just like, I'm not finished with you. Bring back that Braun Strowman. I want there to be I actually kind of want Mick Foley to come back and pull a thing like he did with Edge, where he would literally just saying that if you bring this Edge to Hell in a Cell, the Undertaker's just going to tear you apart. Mick Foley does the same thing to Braun. He's like, you bring this Braun Strowman against the Fiend, and he is going to rip you limb from limb, and he is going to munch on you forever. And then Braun, obviously he can't attack Mick Foley. Maybe he just is like, I understand. He just grabs random people, just tosses them, goes crazy, just does that shit. Maybe we get a moment where he just destroys Corey Graves, but he's on SmackDown. I know. I just want to see that. I want to see Braun Strowman just hit one power slam on Corey Graves. If Michael Cole can take an F5, Corey Graves can take a power slam. I'm just saying. Strowman's winning.
Maybe with his neck, or was it his? I forget what we're tired of. I think it was concussions. But if I could, yes, I'm going to agree that Braun Strowman's going to win. But if I could fantasy book something just a little bit, imagine that Miz and Morrison actually pull this off, and they are. And if they win, it should be noted that if they win, they would be co-WWE champions. They would be the
Universal
Cool.
champions.
They would be the what? Yeah, co-Blue Universal. They would be the Lay Cool, but with dudes. And okay, now I want to speak this into existence and have this actually happen. And then they both have broken titles, and they would, if they were co-champions, then you could both defend the titles together, kind of like how Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, this should be a Festival of Friendship-esque thing. And that would be entertaining as hell. I would love to see this, and should be noted that the last time that Braun Strowman was in a handicap match, he lost the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, he lost it to a great Canadian by the name of Sami Zayn, who got punished for being safe.
However, we're going to see Braun win, and someone's been missing because someone gave birth to their second child. So we're going to see, after this match, hey, fire trucks, we're going to see that. The Fiend's going to come out, attack Braun, and there was the initial pay-per-view poster of this. It was probably fan-made, but it had both of them are going out. It had the two-face deal. Half of it was the sheet mask, and half of it was the Fiend. So we thought we were going to get this at Backsplash, but we didn't. maybe they're saving this for SummerSlam because maybe, just maybe, Roman's going to be gone longer than we thought. Well, his wife's about to give birth to twins. He already has twins and a daughter. He's going to have 5 kids. Poor guy.
Just build up that Samoan dynasty, baby.
Man, you must have been listening to Kings of the Rings. That's exactly what Will said. Yeah, and the fact that he is immunocompromised, like, I've told you, like, my dad's a cancer survivor, and, right now he looks really good. Yeah. So, because we were FaceTiming the other day, and, just had a little bit of a bug, but now he's all right. Sweet. So, good on that. What?
Next up is...
Oh, well, no, we're not quite there. I had a couple things. If there were additional matches, I have predictions, but
there's two more matches. You could do this on WrestleMania or something like that. I want to get through these last 2 matches, and then I want to go to bed. I'm not going to lie.
I don't blame you.
We have Drew McIntyre versus Bob Lashley. Drew's winning. My boy Drew's not dropping the titles of this guy. Lashley, if you were built up better and you didn't have Lana, then I would believe you were a credible threat. Even with MVP, you're not. Drew's winning.
Lana's going to cost him the match. Drew's winning.
Hey, thanks, Lana. Now maybe you could join your real husband on the unemployment line. Sorry, that hurts even me because Rusev's amazing. Oh gosh. And finally, the quote-unquote greatest wrestling match ever, Edge versus Randy Orton. And let's note this, ladies and gentlemen. This is a note on Wikipedia where it says, while the majority of the event will air live, the Edge versus Randy Orton rematch was pre-recorded on June 7th, 2020. It's going to be a cinematic matchup. And that kind of ticks me off. That's... Edge is one of those guys who's definitely capitalizing on this deal, where his Twitter is just on fire. Hearing him basically saying, like, oh, I just drank the greatest coffee ever, and he says, like, oh, I just remember doing this amazing reverse poison Rana for the biggest victory of my career, blah, blah, all that kind of deal. That's funny. The whole deal with Randy Orton and Edge, this should have ended at WrestleMania, but they wanted to just be proved that Edge could actually go, that he could actually wrestle. We know that the dude can wrestle. Why do we need this rematch? Why do we need this? This makes no sense. That being said, I want to believe the dirt sheets that have said this, and if this happens, I'll be okay with this. Holla! If you hear me!
Sorry, sirens again.
Yeah.
Hope everything's okay there. Yeah, this match is going to be... I know this match might have been filmed, but I think this match is entirely to F with Dave Meltzer. This match is less than a minute long. Maybe even less than... I'm going to say this. Low blow RKO, that's it. That's the match. That's it. And Randy wins.
I want to believe that. I want to believe that so badly, but I think they're going to prolong it. I want this to be how it was. Dirt Sheets have said this, and I want this to be a thing. I want Edge to turn heel in this matchup. He picks up the victory, and he just goes right rampant. Oh, God. Drew versus Edge. Thank you. Please, yes.
The Rated RKO reunion.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, jeez. It's like the finger poke of doom deal. Edge just pins Orton with one finger poke, and that's it.
For the benefit of those with flash photography.
Or the benefit of those who really need a troll in wrestling. It's Edge. I will say this. If that is the matchup, I will call it the greatest wrestling matchup ever. It just be the greatest troll in entire wrestling. They would do
over Omega Okada.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh man. Better than Okada and Omega. Better than Rhodes and Rhodes? Yes. Better than Jericho and Benoit? Yes. Better than Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar? Yes. better than Santino Marella versus Wade Barrett? Well, hold on now.
Whoa. Okay. Let's not go too far. I mean, we got to go like, if we're going to go like Paul London, Brock Lesnar here.
Brock Lesnar and Spanky.
Oh, yeah, broken leg. Oh, it's Zach Gallen. There you go, Levi.
Yay! Ruthless Aggression Podcast. Oh, my gosh. I am going to keep an eye out for any spagingos. Oh, my God. In this deal. I will say this, that for those of you that are looking forward to next week's episode of our review of King of the Ring 2000, we might even have to do a spagingo counter for the Ruthless Aggression pod, because I've already got a few. I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah, this has been the Game Changer Podcast. Thank you so much for listening in. He has been Mr. Fretz, who you could follow on the Twitter at TheLegendaryJF. You can also follow me on the Twitter at RealFNGame. It's actually a surprise that I've just noticed now that I have not changed that handle since 2018, I think it was, because when I recorded, I think King of the Ring the first time around, I still had that same Twitter handle. So it's like, oh wow, since All In, I've had this Twitter handle, so I'm keeping the streak up. I'm keeping it going, keeping it lit, keeping it live, y'all. Definitely check out our podcast on so many podcasting formats. It's absolutely amazing. Check out the Young Lions Perspective as well as the Kings of the Rings podcast. As we mentioned before, are celebrating their 200th episode next week. It's going to be absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. I want to say this before I pass it over to you, Fretz, because I see you having the two fingers up, 2 fingers up, 2 thumbs down. I don't know why I said that. Definitely, guys, we are in the midst still of Pride Month, so definitely, if you have a couple bit of extra money, definitely check out our Pride merchandise on teesprings.com/Wrestle Addict Radio. Check out the selection that we have for that, because all proceeds for all the purchases that are made for these products will be put towards the Trevor Project. Definitely check that out. It's a really good cause that helps people through the LGBT community, especially at the young age, just before, I believe, 20, I believe it was.
25.
25, thank you. Definitely check that out. And also, be sure to check out one of our greatest spokesmen for Pride Month, that being the wonderful Kate Murphy at The Kate Murphy, because they do a fantastic job, I apologize, of just representing that community. So definitely looking for a spokesman. Kate Murphy's going to be the person to talk to. Fretz, you did have 2 fingers up as far as like a question, comment, or something like that.
I was actually going to mention the merch and the Trevor Project, and yes, if you want to buy our merch, it is on teespring.com. If there's some hyphens in there, so just search for Wrestle Addict Radio. You know, we got our Pride collection, we got our other stuff, and I should mention our Patreon as well for 17 cents a day or $5 a month. You'll get Fretz's Fave 5 a day early, and and I go through right now, because wrestling is weird. I'm going through topics before eventually going back to my favorite 5 moments of the week. If you have a topic idea, please hit me up on the Twitter at TheLegendaryJF. You can send me a DM if you have me on Facebook. Send me one on Twitter as well, or even on the comments section in our Patreon page or in our chat. Jermaine gave me an idea for a list a couple weeks ago. I think I have one for this coming Sunday, but I really want to involve everyone in this. That includes you. If you have an idea, you let me know as well, Nate. Maybe we'll talk off air, but yeah, I'm going to be recording something probably during Backsplash. Don't know if I'm going to be watching it, to be honest with you. I might just watch it Monday morning, but yep, and we'll also get Nate you had a couple of things on there. We get Love and War. I think Zach has had stuff in there, and we should also mention the Delight Show. I don't know if Brother Mance has done anything Patreon-wise recently, but he had a really good coverage of In Your House this week, and as well as talking about some of his favorite video games. And then him and I got to shoot the breeze because I have also been playing Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. And hey, if you get a Fretzlemania thing or a Game Changer thing, hit us up on the socials, tag us. We'll be sure to blast that out there for you guys. I'm still waiting on someone to buy a Fretz shirt, but if you don't want to, it's okay. I got my Game Changer shirt coming in the mail soon, so woohoo.
It's going to be awesome, guys. So, guys, stay tuned for the next week. It's going to be awesome. For Mr. Fretz, I've been NateFNGreat. This has been the Game Changer Podcast, reminding you that you can make a difference. And it only takes one day and one moment at a time. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Peace out.
This is the greatest show!